I'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming to our seminar this morning. It's co-sponsored by Regis and our good friends at Farm Directions. Our two speakers, Michelle Higgin and Lisa Lallos, have prepared an excellent presentation. I think you're going to find it very useful and informative. Before we get them started, though, I'm going to say a few things about Regis Technologies. For some of you that may be less familiar, Regis is a Chicago-based CMO, that's custom manufacturing organization, focused on the development and scale-up of small molecule APIs in support of our clients' clinical and commercial needs. Scale of operation is roughly from 1 kilo to 100 kilos per batch, so a wide range of possible scale, supporting projects from preclinical through phase 3, and as I mentioned, through commercial. We actually do have 3 commercial products as well. We have a highly qualified and experienced staff of people at Regis in process development, analytical development, quality assurance, and project management. As a testament to our quality and our commitment to quality, Regis just has recently passed our 3rd straight FDA inspection. That was about a month ago, so with no 483. So we have an outstanding regulatory record, and that also applies to international agencies as well. So that gives you a rough idea of what Regis has to offer. Again, small molecule API manufacturing. So when you see opportunities for your needs, your clinical needs, please at least contact us and give us a look. So for now, I'm going to turn this over to Michelle and Lisa to take over the presentation.
So my name is Michelle Higgin. I'm the managing partner of Farmer Directions. I'll tell you what that means in a moment. This is Lisa Lallos. She's one of our senior project leaders at the organization. And so we're going to just take 2 minutes to give you an idea of what Farmer Directions does, so you get the context of what we're doing here, and then we're going to talk about some lessons learned that we've had over the years. So Farmer Directions is 10 years old. Actually, maybe it's even more than that now. Maybe we're getting close to 13 years. It's founded by Rick Saltero, right here in the middle. He is a pharmaceutical scientist. He's been at all the large pharma, moved to the contract labs, then moved into the small pharma. And so right around the year 2000 is when he realized that the paradigm of drug development was changing, and we weren't going to have the $70 million Series A's anymore, that folks were going to have new ideas, new technologies, and going to try to do that on a lean, efficient budget. And so they weren't going to have the finances or the resources to build things out, and they were going to go lean, efficient capital model. So he saw that coming. He saw the outsource model, which is already in play, and he came up with the idea of variable development teams. So teams of folks that you can hire on a small or part-time basis to get you through to the milestone at hand. And then you can let them go as you go through your financing roller coasters. So that play was maybe a little bit harder back in 2000 when people were trying to get used to the consulting model, but now it's an obvious and standard approach, and we've obviously tested the time with that approach. So the group here, we are project managers, we're development experts across all the different disciplines of drug development. We tend to have 2 focuses. One is in formulation and pharmaceutical scientists, and so that's Rick. Bruce is a formulator. Murley, right here, he's a formulator. These are all folks on staff. And then on the other side, and it's just because it is what it is, the females are project managers. And we have a pretty wide project management staff. Sarah, myself, where's Lisa? There's Lisa. And a number of these women, actually, and men, are project managers as well. As much as we promote virtual development, we also are a virtual company. So we have a headquarters in Cary, North Carolina, but we have folks like Lisa who are based here in Boston. So we're all over the place, but our headquarters are in Cary. And so most of our functional folks come through this picture, and then we have a number of, let's call them subject matter experts, that we can pull in on different programs. And so if you have a specific need for, let's say, respiratory inhalation, type of thing, or inhalation toxicology, we can bring in those kinds of experts. We have lots of ex-FDA types folks that we can bring in to advise us on different ports. So we actually have a very expandable, scalable model as well. Make sense? Okay, so our idea here on virtual drug development is we're designed to support that small company. okay? We have large companies, but generally speaking, we're designed to support a small company that we very much affectionately call 2 men in a molecule. And so most of them look like this. They have some sort of CEO who's the money raiser. They have either a clinical person or a pharmacologist, somebody who really understands their technology and their science. And then we will wrap out the rest of the disciplines of their development team. So we'll bring in the clinical operations, the DMPK, Tox, CMC, Reg, and then our levels of project management from a leadership perspective as well as from sort of the day-to-day operations. And then that, of course, that team is fluid. So as you progress through development, you can expand out that team when you need to go heavy into an IND enabling program, and then you can squeeze it down as you're just sort of in the execution mode of a clinical trial. So where is it that our programs support? And sort of the question is, where do we not support? I've kind of organized this in 3 sections. We've got the final discovery phase, and you can assume that research and development may go back 40 years back here. So we've got research and development, we get into final discovery, we have the IND enabling phase, and then the full clinical development phase. And so you know they're not all the same time frame, but it just sort of helps to sort of line up where all these activities are coming into play. So we tend to help folks when they're in the end of their discovery phase. They've identified their target, they know what they're going after, what receptor they're going after, they may have sort of a lead compound. We start helping them make sure that that gets druggable. And that before we get to this point, and I'll say nominate candidate, meaning you've actually gone through the point where you've de-risked your compound, your asset, whatever the case is, and you've de-risked it, or maybe sometimes you bought it, you licensed it, there's lots of different options, and you've locked in on what you're doing. And then, of course, the IND enabling phase and through the clinical phase. And so where is it that we don't support is, go ahead, back here. So this is very more research oriented. This is your MedChem and SAR loops. Yeah, we'll help with that. I've got some NCE programs running, but for the most part, this is not really our game. We don't have a whole lot of medicinal chemists on staff. Same thing, when you get to phase 3, that's just not an area that we're strong with. Pretty comfortable across this range. Phase 3, your organization will look different. You will have a different group of people, you'll be bringing in more support, and so having a sort of variable development team doesn't necessarily make sense anymore when you get to phase 3, because that's going to be multiple years of work. That said, you know, we're pretty strong on CMC, so we will often help folks out in the CMC arena when you get to late development, and so when it comes to NDAs, not as many. When it comes to IND, we're doing multiple a year, and have lots of experience on the IND route. Make sense? Okay. So just to give you a quick background on myself and Lisa before we move on, I'm Michelle Higgin. Rick Soltero is our founder. I'm the managing partner at this point. I've been at the organization for 10, 11 years. Been there sort of part-time even before that, so I've been there since the beginning. Rick's still around, but I manage the day-to-day operations. I am a biochemist by training. And I left the bench quite a while ago because really what I have taken my basic science understanding is to apply that to project management, program management. And now I am just sort of a master of none, jack of all trades, jack of all, master of none, and chief cat herder of getting things done and strategically organizing what the plans are. So I tend to play the role on any given development team as, let me go back, this person, where I work with the CEOs on what their ideas are and translating those into plans and executable plans, budgets, timelines, and that kind of thing. And then I manage our resources, which could be the PDI folks or other folks that come in. It doesn't have to be all Pharma Directions folks. And then they actually work with the vendors. So that's kind of the role I play, similar to what Lisa plays.
Yes, so I am a virologist by training, started at the lab bench and then realized my love of project management, and so moved into Pharma Directions. I've been with Pharma Directions for 3 years, running CMC all the way up to PIND, IND, and phase 1, or helping manage phase 1 clinical trials. And in the role of both the project manager as well as a project lead. So managing all those little pieces that need to go into it. Yeah. So that's us. We're interested in finding out more about you. So can I get a show of hands for anybody who works in small molecules? Any different, maybe an oral or an IV routes? Okay. Peptides. Peptides and oncology or rare diseases.
Yeah, we really are trying to avoid the lecture perspective, so we want to make sure we're seeing what you guys are doing and apply that appropriately. Otherwise, if we have all gene and cell therapies, then this has got a lot of small molecule in it, so it's not going to be as interesting to you. But we want to make sure we cover that as well, because we're comfortable with most any type of product as long as it's a therapeutic. Small molecule, oligos, peptides, antibodies, biologics, gene and cell therapies. I haven't done a whole lot of vaccines. I don't know if you have. Just discovery into things, yeah. So, but you can see the span of areas that we cover, because we have experts in all those areas, which has been great. So why myths and urban legends? When we were talking about what to present, we thought about sort of boring lectures about the difference between 505b1 and 505b2 and regulatory filings and sort of just a mundane approach. We thought about heavy content-driven things. And so when we were talking about this global view that we have on the whole drug development process, what could we bring that was value? And so we thought what we could bring to value was this wonderful option that we have where we get to see everything and the troubles that people make. And what it is the myths and urban legends, because when we talk to literally 50, 100 groups a year, and they come in and they have assumptions about how they can do things, and they turn out to be myths or urban legends. And so the things we're going to talk about, we have not made any single one of them up. They are all things that we have heard more than once, sometimes a dozen times, from folks that come in the room and say, I'm going to do this, or I can't do that because of this. And that's not true. Of course you can do that. You know, drug development makes sense. You just need to know how to path through it and make a road around that. So we thought that would be the best way to bring value, is to sort of talk about our experiences from that perspective and touch on some key things within these different areas, from preclinical to project management. So we're not going to go very deep in any one of them, but we're going to give you a little highlight on all of these, on sort of areas that sometimes people get in a little trouble with or they just don't know.